Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys had a great night tonight. If you don't know who I am, my name is Shook. I make videos for NBA. I also cover other stuff in my Discord. All of these videos get posted on this subreddit right here. Very, very slow day. I assume everyone was watching March Madness. Hope you guys enjoyed today's games. Unfortunately, my bracket is absolutely cooked. Absolutely cooked. Cooked. But all these videos get posted on this subreddit right here. It's called DF Sports. I make updates with all of the news that comes out and stuff like that. You can talk strategy here with people. You can ask me questions. I'll always respond to you. Stuff like that. Check that out if that's something you're interested in. I know it's going to be like a dead week with March Madness going on, so definitely, you guys enjoy that if you need a break from DFS. If you ever need to get a hold of me, you can do so on Twitter at ToryLangley1992. Right there, that's my Twitter handle. Let's go over this. Let's go over my lineups from tonight. So had a really good night. Finally didn't have an injury. Finally didn't have an ejection. Finally didn't have a random benching. I did deal with some foul trouble, but finally had a great night. Um, Pretty much won everything back from that terrible week that I had with only cashing once in 7 days. But I'll show you all my lineups from tonight. I'll show you my single entry, and then I'll show you all three lineups from the $75 three max that I did. So we'll go over my single entry lineup. So the thing that I hammered home. By the way, if Discord's something you're interested in, I'll have a link to that down below where I have in-depth content going over each slate, player pools for cash, GPPs, cores for cash, GPPs, stuff like that. I also cover the XFL. That'll be down below, or that'll be in the Discord as well. And then we have people doing, we do everything. PGA, NASCAR. We'll have MLB coming up. So really great place. That will be down below in the comments. So obviously, the Sacramento game was the best game to target on the slate, clearly. And it went way below the total. It had like a 240 total, I believe it was. It didn't even hit 200. So, really unfortunate there. But, the core that I had for today. So, I had Bridges as a core play, but I told everyone in Discord, I was like, Bridges is riskier than Dinwiddie. I'm only going Bridges as a core play just because he's half the ownership of Dinwiddie, and he was half the ownership. So it was basically just an ownership play there. He busted, but the other core plays that I had, Pat Connaughton was a core play for me. He smashed. Domantas Sabonis was a core play for me at low ownership. He absolutely smashed. And then I had Nicholas Claxton as a core play as well. He absolutely smashed and dealt with a ton of foul trouble. So would have broke the slate if he didn't get the random massive foul trouble. But that was my single entry lineup. Nothing really to tilt about. I mean, it was a great day. Didn't deal with any variants, so that was my single entry lineup. My three max. So as you can see, you're just going to see a lot of Sacramento and Brooklyn. This lineup, I had Sabonis originally in all four of my lineups, but I wanted to get to Fox in one, so I swapped off. Had the core in this. Didn't have Claxton. I wanted Bobby Portis in one lineup, so I faded Claxton. But yeah, had the core, Bridges, Pat Connaughton. Who else was a core play? Oh, obviously didn't have Sabonis because I wanted Fox in the lineup, but you get the point. And then my other lineup that cashed. This one had Dinwiddie, Pat Connaughton, Harrison Barnes, Cam Johnson, Domantas Sabonis, T.J. McConnell, Jordan Nwora, Nicholas Claxton. And then I told everyone I loved T.J. McConnell, regardless if he came off the bench or started. I was playing him regardless, so absolute smash there, if you want to call it that. And then my highest scoring lineup of the day had the core, of course, of Bridges, Pat Connaughton, Domantas Sabonis, and Nicholas Claxton. So this lineup, I'm so mad because this lineup could have won everything. So I actually could have went Gary Trent here and Pascal Siakam here. If I did that, this probably would have binked the big GPP, but nothing you can do about it. I'm really happy with the way that I built my lineups today. I'm very very happy with how I built them. Came down to the last minute because I was answering questions, but I got them in on time. Very very happy. I will not be playing 4 lineups ever again though. That was absolutely insane. Between being in Discord, answering questions on Reddit, and then trying to build, it came down to like the last 30 seconds. I will not be doing that ever again. I'll just be sticking to single entries. So yeah, as you can see, about I don't know what um $350 in NBA entries and turned it into $600. So great night overall. Hope you guys had a great night. And then let's go over the slate. So I'm gonna make this video very quick. My head is absolutely killing me. I don't know why, and I better not be getting sick or I'm gonna be pissed. But good spot here for Philly. Not going to go into detail here. I'm just going to say who I like. So Embiid's in a smash spot. I think he looks like the best spin up on the slate. Him and AD, it's close, both in smash spots. But yeah, absolutely love Embiid in a smash spot. I like Harden quite a bit as well at 9-6. I think the matchup, the pace of this game, he's just going to absolutely thrive in. So I like both the Sixers spin ups here. Maxi, he also thrives in fast paced matchups. 6-3 is definitely a bit overpriced, but a fine tournament play. I don't hate that. Tobias Harris is 4.9. That does seem a bit too cheap, but with everyone healthy, his usage is really bad. He's the 4th option on this team. Max contract player, 4th option, just absolutely wild. But he'll play a ton of minutes. Seems like a pretty safe play to me, like an okay cash game play. Fine tournament play, but yeah, I think 4.9 for him is a bit too cheap. So like Embiid, like Harden, I think Maxi's interesting for GPPs just because of the matchup and no one's going to play him at that price. Then I think Harris is a pretty safe value play. So that'll do it for Philly. Let's move over to Charlotte. So not a good matchup here. I just don't like anything at all on this team. Like Terry Rozier, I think is priced about right. You have the pace of this game and this matchup just seems definitely things working against him. So don't like Rozier. I don't like Oubre either. I think if I had to pick one, it would be Oubre though. Gordon Hayward's overpriced in this matchup. Definitely not going to go to PJ Washington. Mark Williams, we have, is questionable. If he plays, like, sure, go for it. But going up against Embiid, risk for foul trouble is just not a lot here on Charlotte. Don't think we'll take too much time there. And there's not a lot here on Washington either. It's a really tough spot. I will say my favorite play from this team is always going to be Bradley Beal. Just because I love the role that he's in right now and the minutes he's playing. He's just turned a leaf at this post All-Star break. So if I had a favorite between the Washington guys, it would be Beal. But no priorities here for me. And then I'm not going to go to anyone else. Like if you want to go to Daniel Gafford at 4-6, like fine as the last piece in, but once again, not a priority for me. So let's move on to Cleveland. So I do like some things on Cleveland. I do. Really good spot here. I think Mitchell's an okay spend up. I definitely do prefer the price on Garland. Like 7-4 for Darius Garland in a really good matchup is just too cheap. So I do like Garland quite a bit tomorrow. I think Evan Mobley with no Jared Allen. You guys know I always wanted target Daniel Gafford because it's just an absolute fantasy fest. So gonna play huge minutes as well. So I like Mobley a lot at 7-6. Karis LeVert had the big game last game. They closed with him. I think that feels like a bit like chasing if you go to him with Mitchell and Garland healthy. I'm not going to play anyone else though. I will say Chetty Osman has played 30 minutes past 2 games, but um, they kind of go with the hot hand. So if he's not playing well, they will bench him. So just be careful here. Just be careful. I would not be shocked if he only plays like 10 minutes tomorrow. I wouldn't. So just be a little bit careful there. But he is playable. And I think that will do it for Cleveland. Let's move on to the Warriors. So we have Draymond out, we have Wiggins out, we have Kevon Looney probable, we have Steph Curry questionable. So I like the pace of this game, and I like both these teams in these spots. So Steph Curry, if he plays, I always like for GPPs. Kind of like last slate, he was unowned. I told everyone if you're playing Kawhi, you play Steph Curry. So I always 20 of 28. But yeah, I always like Steph for GPP, so I think Steph's a great tournament play, assuming he's going to be low owned. If he's in, that kind of takes me off Clay, kind of takes me off Poole. Dante would be priced about right. I will say Kevon Looney, I think, will start at the 5 at 5-1. I think he's a pretty good value play. Definitely gets a big boost with no Draymond, no Wiggins. So I do like Looney quite a bit, and I think Kuminga will slide into the starting lineup. If that's the case, I think he's a very good value play at 4.4K. And I think that will do it for the Warriors. Let's go over if Steph's out. Then I think Clay looks very good. I think Jordan Poole would look like one of the best mid-range plays on the slate. Dante DiVincenzo at 5-5 I think would be a very good play. Already like Looney, already like Kuminga. So there will be a lot to like on this Warriors team if Steph Curry is out. Ty Jerome isn't with the team. They're waiting on him to get a deal done, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so don't play Ty Jerome. But yeah, I would really like Clay, would really like Poole, would like Dante, would like Looney, would really like Kuminga, but like these two regardless if Steph's in or out. Let's go over Atlanta. So I think it's a pretty good spot here. I think Trey, DeJounte Murray are good tournament plays. If I had to pick one, I'd probably lean DeJounte just given the price. I know he's been very bad, but the price is down. If I had to pick between like Garland or DeJounte Murray, I'd definitely lean Garland, but I think Trey, Murray are good GPP plays. Clint Capella, his minutes are way down of late. I'm also very worried because the Warriors do like to go small a lot, so I think that could definitely hurt Clint Capella. So not much interest there. DeAndre Hunter just seems like a safe play to me. Kongwu, I think, seems overpriced. And then there's a play that I do kind of like here, and I don't know if anyone will be on it. So John Collins at 4-6. If you think the Atlanta Hawks go small, and if you think John Collins will get some run at the 5, I think he's a very interesting GPP play tomorrow, given the fact that the Warriors do like to go small a decent amount. So if they do and John Collins gets more run at the 5, then I think he's very sneaky for GPP. So if you want that sneaky play, I think John Collins definitely is that guy for tomorrow. If he's popular, then I'll definitely fade. But yeah, I like John Collins for GPPs against this Warriors team. I don't think I'll be going to anyone else, though. Let's move on to Minnesota. And I like Anthony Edwards quite a bit. Pretty sure Chicago struggles a ton giving up three-point shooting. I could be wrong, though, but the role right now is just very good for him. I don't know why the price came down. Also has that shooting guard, shooting forward eligibility as well. So I think Ant looks like a very strong play at 9-2. Rudy Gobert, if he plays just indifferent on him, seems like a pretty safe play to me, like no priority. Kyle Anderson, I would probably only consider if Rudy Gobert's out. Would be like a fine play, but don't love it. Mike Conley, no. McDaniels, no. Like McDaniels will play big minutes, but he's always in foul trouble. Like fine value. I probably wouldn't be going to anyone else though. But if Rudy Gobert is out, which I expect Rudy Gobert to play, you guys know what to do. Then you play Naz Reid, he would be the best play on the slate. Ant just gets even more of a boost, would like him even more. Kyle Anderson would definitely be playable at 6-9. McDaniels would be, his role doesn't really change, and then I think you could consider guys like Taurean Prince. I mean, Prince will probably play low 20s minutes regardless, but would feel better about it if Rudy Gobert's out. Let's move on to Chicago. So to pay some spot here, I wish the pricing was cheaper. So Levine, DeMar, Vooch, with their current pricing, I don't know who McDaniels would be on. If I had to guess, it would be DeRozan. So if McDaniels is on DeRozan, I prefer Levine, but no standouts here from the Bulls. I think Vooch is definitely the easiest to get to, given the price. He might be my favorite. If Alex Caruso is out, though, I like Patrick Williams quite a bit at 3-9. I know it's not a fun roster, but his role definitely changes. I think he would be a perfectly fine value if Alex Caruso's out. We also saw Ayo in the starting lineup. I mean, if Caruso's out and he starts, doable. Kobe White had the big game off the bench. Sure, no issue if you want to go there. I think that's pretty good if Caruso's out. So. Caruso news definitely does impact things, I think, more than people will think with the Chicago team. So keep an eye on that. So really good matchup here for the Pelicans. I mean, I really like Ingram. I really like CJ in this matchup. I don't know if people are going to be on them. I feel like people will, just given the matchup. Just Houston does not play defense. They're just always getting cooked by guards. So Ingram, CJ, I think look like very good plays in the mid range to me. Personally, I think Trey Murphy's a bit overpriced with everyone healthy, but he'll play a ton of minutes. Jonas Valanciunas, they're just not giving him run right now, so it's really really hard to prioritize him. Herb Jones, no. Josh Richardson, minutes been down of late. Now, as you know, I do like Nance at 3.5. I think he's an okay value play. You know, kind of concerned he did only play 8 minutes here, but did play 22 here. Kind of want to check what that rotation was like actually. 314. If you guys don't know what this is Popcorn Machine. You can look at rotations. Kind of just want to see if he got that in garbage time or not. He did not. So, wait. Yeah, he didn't. So if they're gonna play Nancy for 20 minutes again at this price tag, yeah, I think that's solid. And I think that will do it for the Pelicans. I just really like the main guys. On to Houston. So pricing is up. There isn't much that stands out, but I will say I don't think anyone's going to play Houston tomorrow. I don't think people are realizing that the rotation has changed of late. So let's take a look at the rotation together. And you guys know I was on Houston last game. They're running an extremely tight rotation. You saw 30 minutes for Sengun. You saw 33 for KJ Martin. You saw 37 for Jalen Green. You saw 39 for Kevin Porter Jr. You saw 36 for Jabari Smith. You can't play anyone off the bench. So with this tight rotation, if they're going to keep this game close, I think they are firmly in play. I definitely don't like the matchup, but I think Kevin Porter Jr., Jalen Green, firmly in play. Unfortunately, with Sengun back, that does kind of kill Jabari Smith, so definitely hurts him. So I think he's a bit overpriced. KD Martin, I think, feels like a pretty safe play to me in the mid range. And then you can't go to anyone on the bench with how tight of a rotation they're running. So I think the Houston guys are pretty sneaky tomorrow with how many minutes they're playing these guys, which I think it's I think it's right. Although I do think they should be playing Tari Issa more. I think getting a look at your young guys, seeing what they can do. Finally, a coach that has a brain. Finally, I applaud them. I actually applaud them. So I think they are sneaky. They're not optimal plays, but with the rotation they're running, one of these guys is going to have a pretty big game. So yeah, definitely interested in Houston tomorrow, and I like this Memphis team a lot. So phenomenal matchup against the Spurs. Spurs just terrible defensively. They play fast. I don't know what Draftkings is doing with this price tag. Bane way too cheap at 7.4. I think he looks great. Jaren Jackson Jr. phenomenal spot here. If he can stay out of foul trouble, I think he looks very good at 7.3. Just too cheap. Tyus Jones now sub 7K. That's too cheap in my opinion. I think he looks very good. So I love the big three here for Memphis in a phenomenal matchup. The only risk here is if you think these Spurs can keep this game close. I don't even hate Tillman, at 5.2, but would rather just go to the main guys. Dylan Brooks is playable just given the matchup, has steady shots to reach value. David Roddy's been very good off the bench, but I don't think I can go there. But yeah, I like the main three Memphis guys a lot. Spurs, so tough matchup here. We have Graham out. I mean, there's not much. Like Keldon, overpriced. Devin Vassell, overpriced. Zach Collins seems priced about right. Jeremy Sochan, been phenomenal of late. I think he's probably my favorite outside of Trey Jones. Safe play to me. If they do start Trey Jones though, at the point you also have that brother rivalry with Trey and Tyus. So played 32 minutes as well. So if they start Trey Jones tomorrow, no Devontae Graham, I think his minutes should be pretty safe here. I think he's too cheap. So I like both the Jones brothers quite a bit. Not going to be going to anyone else on this team, no. All right, last two games here, guys. Two huge. Some news here in these games that we definitely have to keep an eye on. So Tatum is questionable. I feel like Tatum just never misses games. So this is interesting. If he is in, there's not much to me that stands out. Like, fine with Tatum, fine with Brown. I'm fine just playing Brown regardless. Because he's playable regardless. Been phenomenal of late. Brogdon, White, Horford, Smart, they would all just be like contrarian plays for me if Tatum's in. But if Tatum's out, then I absolutely love Jaylen Brown at 8.9. He's going to have to do everything for this team. I think Brogdon, White, Smart, they're going to have to play a ton. They're going to have to do a lot more. Specifically, would like Smart quite a bit at 5.2. Would like White, like Brogdon would be the GPP play of the bunch. Definitely has the highest ceiling of the trio, but would like all three of the guards. Al Horford with no Robert Williams, I think feels like a pretty safe play to me. Like him. Grant Williams, I assume, will move into the starting lineup. I think he'd be a solid value at 3.6K. So, yeah, a lot to like with this Boston team if Tatum's out. So we have Grant questionable, Dame uh, probable. So 10-3 for Dame. I mean, I don't think people. Mm, I was forgetting it's Milwaukee that's been struggling against guards, not Boston. But I think 10-3 is reasonable for him. I think he's an okay contrarian spend up, playing huge minutes as well. Jeremy Grant, I would just be off everyone. I will say, Yusuf Nurkic got in a massive foul trouble last game. He still played 28 minutes. So I think Nurk is just like, if he gets 30 minutes again tomorrow, the matchup's not as bad as people think, but no Robert Williams. So, like, if I knew Nurkic was going to play 30 minutes tomorrow, he would be in my lineup. 100%. He would be in my lineup. Just, I don't know what they're going to do with his minutes. So, I think Yusuf Nurkic is a great tournament play tomorrow, but you have to be ready for your lineup to just be absolutely killed. But I love Nurkic for GPPs, just because if he does play 30 minutes, he's probably going to take you to the promised land. And I don't like anything else outside of that. But if Grant's out, then a boosted Dame, he'd be fine. Simons would just be okay. Still like Nurk for GPPs. Thibault will have to play a ton of minutes, would be playable. But they started Watford last game. If they start Watford again, he played 40 minutes too. I believe that game might have went into overtime. I'm not entirely sure. But if Watford starts again with no Grant, I think he looks like a really good value play. Excuse me, at 4,500. And then they ran such a tight rotation last game that it's just impossible to get to anyone on the bench. So, Dallas at Lakers, got to keep an eye on this news here. Kyrie, Tim Hardaway Jr., both questionable. If Kyrie plays, I love him in this matchup. I just guards against the Lakers, been hammering it home all season long. He's probably going to be unowned because no one's going to wait for that Q tag to be eradicated. So I love Kyrie. If he plays, then it would just take everyone else out of play. They would all just be overpriced. If he's out though, and Tim Hardaway Jr. is out, then the pricing seems about right. Like Hardy's role is going to be great, but 7-3 does seem right. Still would be playable. Same thing for Josh Green. Christian Wood got there in overtime last game. Super risky play. I think I'd rather just take a shot on Nurkic. Reggie Bullock played a ton of minutes. Would feel better about him. I would only play Josh Green, by the way, if Tim Hardaway Jr. is out. I'd still think Hardy's playable, but if Kyrie and Tim Hardaway Jr. are both out again, Reggie Bullock played freaking 46 minutes, 41 in regulation. I think he'd be a pretty safe play at 5-2. Dwight Powell had a massive game last game. No issue if you want to get him at 4-2. McKinley Wright, I believe, had a good game in 23 minutes. Be a fine play. Maxi Kleber was awful last game. I don't think I can do it, but playable. So keep an eye on this news. It's could have some value there for Dallas. Let's move on to the Lakers. So pretty much just AD. I think AD looks great. He's gonna absolutely nuke Wood. He's gonna absolutely nuke Dwight Powell. He's gonna absolutely nuke Maxi Kleber. So I think what you can do here is you can just, boom, have Anthony Davis in your utility. If Kyrie is in, boom, swap to Kyrie. It's just do something like that because I'm playing Kyrie if he's playing against the Lakers. I'm playing him. So, but yeah, AD looks great. Love the spot here for him. D'Lo I think is overpriced. Vandy with AD back's overpriced. Reeves been playing phenomenal, but now is overpriced. So it would really just be Anthony Davis for me at the top for the Lakers. So hope this video helped you all out, and I will talk to y'all tomorrow. Love you guys.